Alright, so as you guys can already know, or otherwise tell, it's about Eugenia Cooney. If you guys don't really know that whole story, I'll sum it up real quick. I mean real quick, not much detail here. Basically, there's this YouTuber, Eugenia Cooney. She is someone who I was interested in YouTube-wise, because I like her, you know. I love her personality. Her personality is like that of Jill Wagner's, just on steroids, and I love it a lot. So I was like, hey, you know, I really like the gal, and so, you know, I watch videos from time to time of her. So anyways, everyone makes this big fuss about her because she's clearly anorexic, okay? Has an eating disorder, you know, so on and so forth. But then all these big famous YouTubers started talking about it, making a big deal about it, and so now everyone's got to jump on this trend train of, you know, we care about someone over the internet that we don't really know, blah, 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 you know, that kind of crap. Same old, same old. Even if it's disingenuous or otherwise, maybe not, you know. I'm sure there are others who actually care. You know, it's kind of like that whole celebrity thing where they have this, like, attachment to someone they don't personally know. But anyways, whatever. That all aside, for years now they've been making a big deal about how she's anorexic and she's got an eating disorder and she's gonna die and blah blah blah. And I've made a couple videos in the past, you know, yeah, you know, defending her and you know, giving my own what have yous on this whole topic. So now that she's made the return, which everyone's making a big deal about, you know, everyone's focusing on, you know, how she's recovering and this and that, and that's great, you know. So I'll start out this whole thing with saying, congrats, yay, woohoo. I'm glad that she's recovering and she's made her decision on her own, or otherwise being an influence for her betterment, to get said help and so on and so forth. Awesome. But that's not what this is about, because I'm not hyper focused on what one does with their, you know, body and how much they eat and how much they don't eat. I don't hyper focus on that crap. People are gonna do what they're gonna do. You cannot help somebody who doesn't want help, okay? Sorry, not sorry, but this is just reality. This is facts of life. If somebody doesn't want to be helped, they won't help themselves. You know, it's just that simple. Don't try to force someone that isn't gonna want to do it, because they're not gonna do it, regardless of what you say, no matter how you put it, etc., etc. So, she made the decision finally to do so. Awesome, woohoo. Let's move on now. So, what I'm going to focus on is what actually really matters at this point, because she's made her decision. So let's focus on her mom, as in the title, you know. This is obviously the talking point here. Holy shit, her mom. Now, either her mother is kind of like out of touch with reality, or a hardcore enabler, or truly as manipulative as Jacqueline, one of her friends, or former at this point, I don't know, has stated. Maybe all three combined, you know, possible mental illness, who knows? It could, you know, be a multitude of different things, but because we don't personally know these people, and there are always two sides to the coin and story, we'll never really know. But nonetheless, just off the info that you know, I've read, watched, etc., etc., I'm gonna go with probably a little bit of enabling and manipulation to the extreme, because Jacqueline, being as close as she was to Eugenia, would know obviously more than anyone. So I'm going to take her word on this. And this whole controlling every move, that is a very, very bad thing to do. What her mom is doing for Eugenia is actually counterproductive. Setting Eugenia up for failure. Although luckily enough, Eugenia is probably making so much money off YouTube, it probably isn't going to make too much of an impact because she can always pay, for this and that. But if you were an everyday person and your mom was controlling every single thing that you did and every single place you went and so on and so forth, and you didn't have the money, you'd be fucked, because I don't know how to cook. But Eugenia, if she can say the same thing. I don't know how to cook. I'll just pay someone to cook for me, or I'll pay to go out to eat, because she has that option. But if you're an everyday person, you'll be like, I don't know how to cook. So I'm fucked. Because you can't pay someone to cook for you. You don't have a personal chef. You don't have the funds to go out to eat every day, so on and so forth. Doing laundry, doing everyday life things, if you don't know how to do it and you can't pay somebody to do it, you're fucked. So, still, it's a good thing to know. Worst case scenario, Eugenia loses her financial what have yous for whatever the reason. So that's pretty dire, if you ask me. But what I also want to focus on here too is that there's probably a bigger thing going on here with her mom that nobody else has mentioned, but I am really picking up some hardcore vibes on here. And that is that Eugenia Cooney's mother wants Eugenia to die. She isn't going to do it blatantly, obviously, but she's doing it in a way where Eugenia does it to herself. And why, you might ask? What is the motive? Well, we already know what the motive is. It's always the same thing when it comes to rich people and this and that. Money. Eugenia is making so much money, and probably has so much money at this point, that her mother wants to receive all said money and will go to any lengths to do so. So by having Eugenia die, kill herself by way of starvation and anorexia, her mother gets the benefit of receiving all that money, being that Eugenia isn't married and so on and so forth. The only place the money can go is to her mother. So of course, she's going to enable this eating disorder, enable Eugenia's bad behavior concerning food intake and so on and so forth, and not want her to get help, and control every aspect of her life so she can advantageously take advantage of the situation and receive the money. Because money corrupts people. Money makes people do things that they wouldn't otherwise think of ever doing in their entire life. But when so much money is on the line, people do some fucked up things. We see it all the time. We've heard it in the past, current, and will in the future too. Where, people will kill their own family members for money. And this is no different, just in a different method. So that is why I am bringing this up, because usually I don't really like to get into the whole YouTube famous people talk and drama or whatever they want to call it nowadays. But to me, this is kind of a red flag that I didn't really want to just kind of ignore, just in case something actually does happen in this situation. Because when Jacqueline stated that, Eugenia can't leave the house, and if she does, it's with her mom or with her driver, who is apparently willing to bang on Jacqueline's door and yell at Jacqueline in the most aggressive way that she's ever seen. Whilst Eugenia was crying the whole time, saying her mom has a weak heart, and if we, them, do anything to stress her mother out, Eugenia's, that her mother, Eugenia's mother, might die. And that Eugenia is terrified that anything she does against what she's told to do could kill her mom. That's some crazy level of manipulation, and I absolutely agree with that. And so again, it brings the point that her mom's going so far out of her way to do these things to prevent people from helping Eugenia, it's beyond just manipulation and sociopathic type behavior. This is greed. This is definitely greed, if you ask me, from what I can tell and observe. Because no parent, no person in their right mind, without some sort of agenda, would do that to their own daughter. There's definitely a reason that Eugenia's mother is doing this, and it's because of greed. It's because of money. That's what the core of all evil always is. Money. So, with how famous and rich Eugenia is, you damn right she's going to try to capitalize on that. And if she's got to take out her own daughter by having her own daughter kill herself by anorexia and eating disorder, that's exactly what she's going to allow and make her daughter do without her daughter even realizing what she's doing. I'm amazed that nobody else has caught on to this either. I mean, I'm the only one that's really caught on to this. Maybe it's because I can see at a different perspective or a different angle because of the shitty people I've ever been around, but yeah, it really comes down to money. If Eugenia wasn't like super rich, famous, or whatever because of, you know, her YouTube stardom, I bet you her mother would be completely different on this, like 360. Like, she would try to get her daughter help, and she wouldn't go so far to get her lawyers and drivers and this and that involved, and because she wouldn't have the money to do it, you know. Furthermore, you know, her daughter wouldn't have anything to benefit from, to capitalize on and take, and so on and so forth, and all that good stuff. And so that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm observing. That's what I'm hearing. That's just the vibe I'm getting, the red flag I'm hearing here. Unfortunately, is what it's come down to is, again, the root of all evil, money. And you know, it's just shitty to see, you know, such a great gal with the what I would call the perfect personality, you know, amplified. I love that. You know, she's got the whole cute squeaky mouse voice, and she's always very positive and thankful and gracious and kind and compassionate. The whole 10 yards, you know, like perfectly feminine in all ways, you know. Femininity, she embraces it to the max. Whole 10 yards. So it always sucks when I see someone so great like that have to go through all these things, and she's getting all this unwarranted attention because of the internet. You know, unfortunately, I've fallen into the trap of, you know, this whole thing, but it's something that, even though I know I won't get too many views or whatever because I'm not a famous YouTuber and all that crap, but it's something that at least I put out there nonetheless, and there you go. I've put my observation out there. And so I'll just kind of leave it at the note of I hope that everything turns out the best for her and all that. But I do also want to point out in regard to Jacqlyn's situation here, JacqlynGlenns, that a lot of what her commenters are saying are correct. You know, such as what Sarah said, better mad than dead. You did the right thing, and I'm glad you're making noise to get her safe. And then when, for years everybody is saying, where's her friends? Why aren't they helping? Everybody is now saying, oh my God, you overstepped, it's not your place. The contradiction and hypocrisy is just too much. No matter what you do, Jacqlyn, people are gonna have something to bitch about. Yeah. If you're riding on a donkey, they'll get mad at you for riding on the donkey. If you're not riding on the donkey, standing next to it, side by side, they'll be like, why aren't you riding on the donkey? You could be saving leg energy from riding on the donkey. And, you know, it doesn't matter what the fuck you do, there'll be many people who have some sort of problem with it, you know. So, you know, fuck those people. They're clearly stupid and not in touch with reality and ignorant as fuck. They don't know the real problems that are going on, and they'll never understand it until they go through it themselves or have a good understanding of psychology. So, anyways, that all out of the way, I will just leave it at that. I do hope the best for Eugenia, furthermore, and that she doesn't relapse too hard or whatever, go back to her old ways. And I do hope the best for Jacqueline as well, even, that hopefully there can be some sort of reconciliation, that there can be a friendship returned after all things are said and done, because, what those three individuals did in the video, they were perfectly fine in doing. And that is 3 true friends right there. Those are 3 people that I would love to have as my friends. Those are people that are so loyal, dedicated, and thoroughly invested in Eugenia that I would truly state them to be the kind of friends that everybody needs in their lives, and Eugenia Cooney is exceptionally lucky to have them in their lives. And in saying that, I do hope that in time Eugenia can make good with what they did, I guess, even though it's not really a bad thing, but Eugenia may see it as that. I'm not really sure, but hopefully they can come back together and water on the bridge and all that good stuff. So all the best to Jacqueline and the other 2, and all the best to Eugenia Cooney. And I just leave it at that, really. So until next time.